grammar learning exercise, and that is comprehension passage. It is also known as unseen passage because it's a passage that they would have given you and you wouldn't have come across that passage anywhere else. So based on the passage that is given, you will have certain questions, and so you need to read the passage quickly and then read it once again so that you get a proper understanding of what the passage is all about, and then attack the questions that are given one at a time. Okay, so the first comprehension passage that we have here with us is about Gandhiji. You can see the young version of Gandhiji here, okay, as a college student. Shall we start with the first comprehension passage, students? I'll read the comprehension passage and then we will tackle the questions that are asked based on the comprehension passage. So please be attentive as I'm reading the passage. All right. Now, passage number 1. I should be the last person to be telling school and college students to take their studies seriously. I never did so myself and scraped through my exams with an unbroken record of third divisions. In successive years at school, I distinguished myself by getting zeros in arithmetic and just managed to get by with algebra and geometry. It was almost the same in college and for higher studies in law in England. Most students did their LLB and bar at law in 3 years. I took 5 years to pass the same exams. When I returned home, my father quite rightly belittled my performances. When any of his friends asked him, "What did your son pass in England?" he would reply, "I am not sure what he passed, except that he passed a lot of time." I'll read that statement, students. When any of his friends asked him, "What did your son pass in England?" he would reply, "I am not sure what he passed, except that he passed a lot of time." Students who take their studies seriously do well in their exams and get a head start in life. You will notice that most of those who get into the best services like administrative, foreign, revenue, education, engineering, police and other posts of the bureaucracy were among the toppers in their classes. Others who do equally well or better in professions like law or medicine have to make up by studying and working harder in later life. There are no shortcuts to success. I repeat, there are no shortcuts to success. That means there is no substitute for hard work at all. Hard work alone will help us achieve whatever we want to achieve in life. Hard work and success, they say, go hand in hand. So you can see the younger version of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi here. Okay, on the right hand side of the page, you see a younger version of Gandhiji. Now this is obviously taken from his autobiography. Okay, and the autobiography that was written by Gandhiji was called My Experiments with Truth. Have you ever read that book, students? It is an eye-opener. It is very good and you need to read that book so that you will get a lot of information about Gandhiji as a student, as a boy and as a great freedom fighter, how much he has done for the sake of the country. And we all know that finally he was assassinated, right? That is the term that is used for people who are in the higher post and who are murdered by others. So Nathuram Godse, as you all know, students, was the person who assassinated Gandhiji, and that happened on the 30th of January 1948. August 15th, 1947, students, we got our independence from the British. And he did not live long to see India being a liberated and a free country. He died on the 30th of January 1948 and he became a victim of the gunshot of Nathuram Godse. Okay, now back to the comprehension passage, students. I shall quickly read the passage once more, okay, and then we shall tackle the questions based on the passage, okay. Please pay attention. I should be the last person to be telling school and college students to take their studies seriously. I never did so myself and scraped through my exams with an unbroken record of third divisions. In successive years at school, I distinguished myself by getting zeros in arithmetic and just managed to get by with algebra and geometry. It was almost the same in college and for higher studies in law in England. Most students did their LLB and bar at law in 3 years. I took 5 years to pass the same exams. When I returned home, my father quite rightly belittled my performances. When any of his friends asked him, "What did your son pass in England?" he would reply, "I am not sure what he passed, except that he passed a lot of time." Students who take their studies seriously do well in their exams and get a head start in life. You will notice that most of those who get into the best services like administrative, foreign, revenue, education, engineering, police, and other posts of the bureaucracy were among the toppers in their classes. Others who do equally well or better in professions like law or medicine have to make up by studying and working harder in later life. There are no shortcuts to success. I'll just underline this beautiful philosophy of life, students. There are no shortcuts to success. You may have a shortcut to reach your school. You may have a shortcut to reach your home. But definitely there is no elevator also to take you to success. There is no elevator. There is no lift which can suddenly take you up and see that you achieve success. You have to go step by step to achieve success in life. So there is absolutely no shortcut to success, and this is what Gandhiji says in his autobiography. What did I say is the title of the autobiography, students? My Experiments with Truth. If you haven't read that book, you have to buy that book or borrow the book from someone, and you need to read that book. It will give you a lot of lessons. You will learn a lot of lessons from this book, students. Okay, now we shall tackle the questions based on this comprehension passage. So I have done 2 readings of the passage. Now I just want you to focus your attention on the word arithmetic. If you have paid attention to the way that I have read the passage, you would have noticed that I pronounced it as arithmetic and not as arithmetic. Okay, it is not arithmetic, students. The letter A over here, I'll just circle the letter A, students. The letter A is silent. It is to be pronounced as arithmetic and not as arithmetic. Okay, mathematics has arithmetic, algebra and geometry. So mathematics, algebra and geometry are, or arithmetic, algebra and geometry are a part of the subject called mathematics. Okay, so this is arithmetic. And third divisions. Now what do we mean by third divisions? You have the first class, second class and the pass class. The third division is nothing but the pass class. Okay, so he did not secure a first class, he did not secure a second class. He used to always pass in third class. Okay, that is less than 50%. The first question, students, is in the form of a multiple choice. Okay, they have given us 3 options and you need to select the most appropriate option or choice. Choose the correct alternative and complete the sentence. This piece of writing, that is the passage what I have just now read not once but twice, this piece of writing is an autobiography, option A, option B, science fiction, and option C is biography. Now out of these 3 options, one is obviously the right answer. So which do you think is the right answer, students? Is it an autobiography, or is it a science fiction, or is it a biography? Obviously this B option is wrong, right? It is not dealing with science. So it cannot be a science fiction. So that means it is a choice between A and C. That is between autobiography and biography. Now tell me whether it is an autobiography or a biography. Now, do you all know the difference, students, between an autobiography and a biography? Well, if you don't know, I'm here to explain the difference to you all. Now, autobiography is when you write about your own life. You are the one, you are writing about your own life, about your childhood days, about your adult life, etc. About the kind of experiences that you have had in life, your joys, your sorrows, your difficulties, everything, you are the one you are writing about yourself. Then it is an autobiography. But someone else is impressed by the kind of life that you have led. They want to write something about you. When they want to write about your life history, then it is not autobiography, it is biography. So, life history written by the same person, it becomes autobiography. Your life history written by someone else is called as biography. So, tell me whether this piece of writing which I just now read is an autobiography or a biography. It is obviously an autobiography because throughout you have the pronoun I. So, he is writing and saying about himself. So, the first answer is an autobiography. Okay, this piece of writing is an autobiography. Now, the second question is, how did the author's father, that is Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi's father, feel that he had spent his time in England? Remember, for his higher studies, Karamchand Gandhi went to England. Okay, and also remember that we were already under the control of the British. India had become a colony of the British and Gandhiji had gone where? To England to study law. Okay, so how did the author's father feel that he had spent his time in England? Because remember, go back to the passage and it says, whenever his friends asked Gandhiji's father, what did your son study in England? He would say, I don't know what exactly he studied. Okay, how he passed, what exam he passed, but I only know that he passed his time over there. So he is making a mockery of his son's educational achievement where? At England. So how did the author's father feel that he had spent his time in England? So we'll go back to the comprehension passage and pick those sentences from the comprehension passage and write that as the answer. Okay. Now I will just locate the answer for all of you students. See, when any of his friends asked him, what did your son pass in England? He would reply, who is that he here? Gandhiji's father. He would reply, I am not sure what he passed, except that he passed a lot of time. So that means because everybody else would have finished it in 3 years. Gandhiji says that he took 5 years. That means he has taken an additional 2 years to complete his LLB, right? So the answer to this particular question would therefore be, when any of his friends asked him, what did your son pass in England? He would reply, I am not sure what he passed, except that he passed a lot of time. That is where the answer to the second question lies. Okay, so shall we write the answer then? So how did the author's father feel that he had spent his time in England? The author's father, apostrophe S. The author's father felt. So when you're writing the answer, students, generally the questions are asked in present tense. When you write the answer, you need to write it in the past tense. So feel is present tense, felt is past tense. The author's father felt that he had wasted a lot of time, that he had wasted a lot of time and wasn't sure, wasn't, W-A-S-N apostrophe T, and wasn't sure what he had passed, but that he had passed a lot of time in England. because this is where Gandhiji goes to study law. He goes to England to study law. And remember, throughout the comprehension passage, he very clearly states that he was not a very good student. He was not a very bright or an intelligent student. The words third division, what does it indicate? Pass class. So throughout, and he says he had a fear for mathematics. He did not do well in arithmetic, algebra, geometry, etc. Okay, so the author's father felt that he had wasted a lot of time and wasn't sure what he had passed, but that he had passed a lot of time in England. Now let's move on to the third question. What is the author's conclusion? Now when you say authors, obviously we are referring to Gandhi. When we say author's father, it is Gandhiji's father. Here it is only author. So that means it is a reference to Gandhiji. What is the author's conclusion about the road to success? So the last statement that I have read, remember I read it twice and I even underlined that particular statement. That is what you need to write as an answer to the third question. What is the third question, students? What is the author's conclusion about the road to success? The road to success will have lot of ups and downs. It is not a straight road, students. Okay, the road to success has a lot of ups and downs. There is no lift, there is no elevator which is going to take you to success. Your destination is success, but there is no elevator, there is no lift. And even if you have to reach success, you have to climb one step at a time. You cannot, just no lift will take you to success. It's a road full of thorns and needles and sharp stones. So you need to be very careful when you're treading on the path of success. So it doesn't come very easily. You need to do a lot of hard work. You need to have a lot of patience. Try and you will succeed. There is another proverb. Nothing is impossible as long as you have the determination to succeed. So what is the author's conclusion about the road to success? Let's go back to the comprehension passage, students. I will read out the statement, what I have underlined for you. There are no shortcuts to success. So the author concludes, or the author concluded that there are no shortcuts to success. There is no elevator, there is no lift that can take you to success. Right? There is no substitute for hard work. Hard work alone will take you to success, will help you reach success. So shall we write this particular answer then? What is the author's conclusion about the road to success? The author states that there is no shortcut to success. The author states that there is no shortcut to success. There is no substitute for hard work. There is no substitute. S-U-B-S-T-I-T-U-T-E. There is no substitute for hard work. I'll put hard work within single inverted commas and underline this. So the author states that there is no shortcut to success, there is no substitute for hard work, there is no elevator that can help us reach success. Okay, so two sentences will. Fourth A question is, there are not many alternatives. Now this is a question related to grammar. It is not related to the passage as such, but it is a question related to grammar. Now there are not many alternatives. I would like to focus your attention on the word not. Not is indicating negative meaning. Okay. So when they have asked you to rewrite it as an affirmative sentence, it means that you have to change it into a positive statement. Remember, we did exercises on question tags. And I told you, when the sentence is in the negative, the question tag has to be in the positive. And when the statement is positive, the question tag has to be negative, right? So not indicates negative meaning. Now the instruction that has been given to us within the brackets is rewrite as an affirmative sentence. That means as a positive sentence without the use of the word not. So when you remove the word not, you have to be careful not to change the meaning of the sentence. For example, I will tell you one sentence, students. If I say, Sheila was not absent yesterday. Okay, then Sheila was not absent yesterday when I say. It's a negative statement because the word not is there in the sentence. Now I say change it into affirmative or change it into positive without changing the meaning. Sheila was present yesterday. I've said Sheila was not absent yesterday. Not is a negative word. So not absent. I have to remove the word not. Now if I say Sheila was absent yesterday, what am I doing, children? I'm changing the meaning. So when you are changing from the negative to the affirmative sentence, we need to take care not to change the meaning of the sentence conveyed. That is why I said Sheila was not absent yesterday is a negative statement. So when we have to change that into affirmative, I will simply say it as Sheila was present yesterday. Right? So something similar to that. There are not many alternatives. Rewrite as an affirmative sentence. There are, so your answer would be there are very few alternatives. There are very few alternatives would be the right way of changing this negative statement into its affirmative sentence. Right? Now we'll move on to 4th B question. And what does 4th B question say? That is also a question related to grammar. When I returned home. Now these are the sentences picked from the comprehension passage, but it is asking you a grammatical structure. When I returned home, my father belittled my performance. Rewrite the sentence using ing participle. Okay, so the word returned. Okay, I'm just focusing your attention on this word, students. The word returned has ed added to it. Right? It is in the past tense. So what exactly they are asking us to do is, they want you to change returned to ing form. So that is returning. So how are you going to write the same statement? By removing the returned, the word returned, and substituting which word? Returning. That is the ing form. That is why they have asked you to write it in the sentence or write the sentence using the ing participle. So when I returned home, my father belittled my performance. On returning home, my father belittled my performance. On returning home. So what have I done? I have changed return to returning, and that is what is asked of me to do. I have been asked to rewrite the entire sentence using the ing participle. So the returned will therefore change to returning. And what is the answer? On returning home, my father belittled my performance. So shall we write the answer? On returning home, comma, my father belittled my performance. Okay. Now, why do you think Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi's father spoke ill about Gandhiji, made fun of Gandhiji? That is because when all the others have graduated in 3 years' time, Gandhiji has taken 5 years' time, which means he has taken an additional 2 years to complete his course. He went there for higher studies. He's gone there to do his LLB. So he should have completed it in 3 years' time. But unlike the others who have completed in 3 years' time, he has taken an additional 2 years. So he has taken 5 years to complete the examination, write his examination and complete the course. That is why the father is a little sarcastic about his son's performance. So we'll move on to the fifth question, students. Now before we start with the fifth question and have a discussion regarding the answer to the fifth and the other questions, let me tell you, students, please remember, when a comprehension passage is given, they can ask you questions based on grammar from the passage taken. So don't be under the impression that you just have to locate where the answers are and simply write what is there in the passage. Sometimes, like how we have already discussed, there can be questions related to grammar also based on the comprehension passage that has been given to you, right? Okay, now the fifth question says, expand the abbreviations given below. Abbreviations are nothing but short forms, okay? So abbreviations are short forms. You need to write the expansion of these short forms. So the first one is IAS and the second abbreviation they have given is LLB. Okay. So what is the expansion of IAS? Do you know what it stands for, students? Well, it is Indian Administrative Service. IAS officer we say, right? So a person who has passed his IAS examination becomes an IAS officer. You have IPS, Indian Police Service. So IAS stands for Indian Administrative Service. And when you are writing the expansion, children, please be careful. The first letter of the word that you have expanded, okay, should be in capital. Now I, so I should be in capital, Indian. Okay, next is A. So A also has to be written in capital and then write what A stands for. Indian Administrative. ADMINISTRATIVE. And S stands for service. Even S has to be in capital letter. So what is the expansion of IAS? IAS stands for Indian Administrative Service. I is in capital letter, A is also in capital letter and S is also in capital letter. This you should take care of. Write all the first letters of what this letter stands for in capital letter. Now let's go on to the next abbreviation, LLB. Any idea what does LLB stand for? It is Bachelor of Law alone you cannot say. If it is Bachelor of Law, what about the other L then? It is Bachelor of Legislative Law. I repeat, Bachelor of Legislative Law. Again, the B has to be in capital letter, legislative, L has to be in capital letter, law also has, L has to be in capital letter. So the second one is Bachelor of Legislative, Legislative, Bachelor of Legislative Law. This is the expansion of LLB. Expansion of IAS is Indian Administrative Service. Expansion of LLB is Bachelor of Legislative Law. So I have written capital B, capital L for legislative and capital L for the word law. Now we move on to the fifth sub-question and that is 5B. Complete the following with a collocation from the extract. Okay, so you have come across the word collocation, I am sure. Haven't you, children? So collocation, now the word record and then you have the word studies. Now if you go back to the comprehension passage, the word which has come before the word record and the word which has come before the word studies is the collocative word. Okay, so in the comprehension passage, students, unbroken record, I remember reading it. Unbroken record. He has not broken the record. What was the record that he had not broken? Passing all his exams in the 3rd division. Who is that he? Mahatma Gandhi ji. Okay, so unbroken and higher studies. Okay, I shall point out those two words for you in the comprehension passage. The third line, see, unbroken. I have put it within the rectangular box. What record? An unbroken record. A record which has not been broken. And which is the other one? Higher studies. See, the word studies is here. So, higher studies. Okay. So, higher is the collocative word of studies and unbroken is the collocative word of record. Did you all understand, students? So, with this, we successfully complete the first comprehension passage. So, we have learnt a few things. We have learnt the abbreviations of IAS and LLB, Indian Administrative Service, and Bachelor of Legislative Law. We learnt one more very important lesson from Gandhiji's autobiography, that there is no shortcut to success. There is no substitute for hard work. If you want to achieve success, what is very, very important? Determination, hard work and patience. All these are the three ingredients which will help you to achieve success in life. So, all the very best to you all children. I want you all to develop these three values in life: hard work or perseverance, determination and also patience. If you have all these three, you will definitely achieve success and success will be at your doorstep. Okay. Shall we now move on to the second comprehension passage, students? Are you all ready?